Today I'm here with a friend of mine and a grad student, Anna, who knows a substantial amount about AI and is happy to answer a few questions we have about AI and some of its effects that has on modern day academics and work. The first question is, how do you think the use of tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot for research, writing, or problem solving will affect the next generation of workers and students?
I think this is an interesting question that you're not gonna get results on for a while, just like long term effects, right? But I think it's this double-edged sword where AI can have good uses and it can make the workplace more productive and it can make it streamline processes and all those things. But I think its accessibility and how easy it is to use it um, is kind of creating this like workplace and in academics as well issue where it's like you're overly dependent on it. I think that's going to be a really big thing you see in this upcoming wave of employees. But I also think that like jobs are doing, I don't want to say a good job because I don't think I'm qualified enough to say if it's good or bad. But I think they are addressing it now, which is important. I work at the Department of Health part time, at least while I'm in school, and all like Gemini, Copilot, so ChatGPT, are all blocked on my like computer if I'm on like the Wi-Fi of like the DOH. And so workplaces are starting to combat this, which I think is interesting because we don't know what those effects are going to be like yet, at least.
Do you think that AI will play a major role in personalized learning and accessibility?
I think that it's already playing a pretty big role in it, and I can only imagine that role like increasing over time. We're seeing a lot now, especially with accessibility. AI playing a big role. I have a friend who uses this app that's meant for people who are deaf, but she plugs in her homework assignments into it and then it reads it back. But it is an AI tool, and there's a million of them out there. In the office that I work in, the disability and health unit of the DOH is also there. And I was just talking to the head of that department about it, and trying to see like how can we incorporate AI tools in a way that's environmentally friendly, right? In a way that's responsible of usage, but also in a way that works where AI is what I think it's supposed to do, is like making lives easier to some capacity. And so I think that usage is only going to increase, but I also think it's naive to believe that it's not here yet.
How might AI affect teachers that are trying to combat plagiarism or academic integrity?
I think this is a really interesting topic. So in my undergraduate, I was a double major in public health, but also in English. And that was a really big department we had in English, or a really big discussion we had in the English department of like, how do you use AI in the classroom in a way, again, that is responsible. But also I had some professors that were very against it, absolutely not. And they were very, very strict on that, and also strict on the way that they graded. And so if they even had a thought that you were using it, even if you weren't, that was a problem. And that becomes problematic for like other reasons. And I won't take us down my wormhole, but like we're seeing these things where like AI usage in like writing is being like related to like semicolons. And so if you see a semicolon, professors are automatically assuming that you're using AI. I'm an English major. I'm trained to use semicolons. I use semicolons frequently, and I'm not using AI for that. And so that becomes this gray area of like, what do you do? And then in that gray area is where you get my other side of the professors, where I had professors that not encouraged usage, but was like, if you're going to use it in my classroom, cite it. Like, just like put it in your citations. And so how it's going to affect professors is going to vary widely depending on the person and how they feel. And I also think, again, as AI is constantly developing, we're constantly coming out with new versions of ChatGPT and all these other forms that they're going to have to constantly evolve in their response to it. So it's honestly hard to predict, but I'm telling you, like, now it's very mixed, and I can't imagine them coming to any type of consensus anytime soon, at least.
How might teaching methods and assessments change through the use of AI?
I think that this, again, is a double-edged sword, but I think that's most things with AI. Is one half is professors I had a professor that made us write our final paper by hand so that we couldn't use AI. I also knew people in the class who just ChatGPT did and then copied it by hand. So like if kids want to, they will.
Right.
And some professors are very understanding of that. And so I've had professors who, like I said, like offered extra credit if you could figure out how to use it in a way that wasn't, you know, academically like wrong. You have some professors who are like you know, engaging with it, and who are like trying to implement AI in their assessments and in their course load, because I understand, and I tend to be of the agreement that like it's inevitable, right? It's going to happen. People are going to use it, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing.
How do you think AI might affect the growth and development of future students?
I think this is going to be interesting, and I think that this is going to vary on a multitude of factors. And so we're seeing, interesting enough, that the COVID era aligned very, very linearly with the use of AI and ChatGPT and the like commonality of it, right? And we're seeing declining education rates associated with COVID. And so we're seeing declined math rates, declined English rates on national testing and state testing, and that's being associated with COVID, right? And we're only seeing the decline continuously, where like the peak was like probably like the class of like 2022, 2021 maybe, and then those classes after, their grades are like gradually dropping, right? I think part of that is also the use of AI, and I think that those trends won't change, and I think that you're going to find this like co-founding factor of like, is it AI or is it COVID, which is really interesting. But to that point as well, I think that people got dependent on AI during COVID, right? And there's a multitude of factors that we get into. Being home, isolated by yourself, that can't be good for your mental health, right? People losing loved ones from COVID can't be great for your mental health, and those factors affect your ability to do school. And when you're like, okay, either fail school or use this generative AI tool that helps make school easier for me while I'm going through this hard time, right? And so trying to separate those two is going to be really interesting. But I think that unless we can find a way to teach AI or teach how to use AI in a way that's not harmful to academics but enhancing of academics, you're going to see students become overly reliant on it. We're also seeing dropping literacy rates, right? And that's like kind of across the board, and that's because people can't critically think, because you don't have to if ChatGPT is going to tell you how to do it.
Well, that is all we have time for. I appreciate you answering all these. You had some lovely thoughts and some very deep insight about our future workers and students. Thank you.